You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is July 1st, 2024 meeting of the Michigan City Board of Public Works and Safety. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good morning. I'll call this meeting to order for the Michigan City Board of Public Works and Safety. Let the record show it's Monday, July 1st, 2024. I'll call the roll. Mr. Simmons?
Present.
Ms. Tisdale?
Present.
Ms. Smith?
Present.
Ms. Moore?
Present.
Ms. LePage?
Present.
And Mr. York is present. We do have a quorum. Our first order of business today is approval of minutes from our regular hybrid Zoom meeting of June 17th, 2024. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to accept.
Support.
Call for the roll. Mr. Simmons?
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Motion approved. Our first order of business today is opening of bids. We're opening a bids for the sale of city-owned property at 9th Street, vacant lot. This is parcel number 460129434022000022. I'll hand it over to Ms. LePage.
Thank you. Ford, we have received one bid. The bid closing date happened about a week or so ago. The individual that received the one bid from was an Austin Tabor in the amount of $200. Just to refresh the board's memory, Mr. Tabor was the individual who came to the board and requested that the city place this up for sale. At this point in time, he has submitted the bid form with the non-collusion affidavit, and I would be asking for the board to accept the bid so that he can render payment, and then I can do the transfer documents.
Attorney LePage, do we need to make an official motion for
Yes.
this? Do I need to open it up for public comment?
You can, yes.
I'll take any public comment on this subject, which is the sale of city property at 9th Street. Any public comment? Okay, hearing none, I'll close public comment. And any comments from the board?
Motion to accept the
Excellent.
bid at the property
I'll call
off 9th Street.
I hear a second. I'll call for the vote. Mr. Simmons?
Aye.
Mrs. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you. Our next order of business is a contract. Michael Wolf, City Forester, is requesting the approval of an agreement for urban forest contractor. Mr. Wolf?
Michael Wolf, City Forester, City of Michigan City. And yes, I would like to request approval of the agreement for urban forest contract. This contract is the first step needed for the grant program. The urban forester will be doing a tree inventory of the entire city. That sets the groundwork. I'm going to use that data. I've divided the city into three separate zones, and each zones consists of three census tracts. And we're going to use that data to plant in 2005, 2006, and 2007, 500 trees in each of those years, based on the information I get from this urban forestry.
If I may, will you just explain a little bit take the opportunity to explain a little bit about the grant and what it is and where it comes from, just for the public's knowledge?
Sure. The grant is part of the American Rescue Plan. It's an ARP grant for $1 million to address, in my case, the differences between areas of our city, hence the census tracts, that need equity, if you will, on trees.
Excellent. It's reforesting our city.
Right, it's reforesting the city.
Any questions of Mr. Wolf from the board?
President York, just
Yes.
if I can add just a little bit. So the grant was applied for, was it last year by the tree board?
Yeah.
And Global Engineering helped greatly, help prepare that. So the city was awarded that last year. Approximately about 6 weeks ago, the Board of Public Works and Safety, went out for requests for proposals, for this service specifically to itemize the trees and do the inventory. And as a result, Mr. Wolf and attorney Ryan Beal that works in my office sat down and met with the contractors. So this would be the selection of that competitive procurement of that service. And for purposes of today, it would be Great Lakes Urban Forestry who would be performing that service for us under the grant, to do the inventory in an amount not to exceed $63,970.
Excellent, thank you. I'll open up for public comment. Any public comment? Anything online? Oh.
Tim Warner, city engineer. I just want to clarify. He had mentioned AARP. I don't know if the U.S. Department of Agriculture, U.S. Forest Service, which is where the grant came through, was using AARP funds or just other funds, but it was through the Forest Service that we actually got the grant.
Excellent, thank you.
Good morning, board. Scott Melantur, Kenwood Place. Just one question. Trees are great. Love trees. Love trees a lot. Trees are great. What type of trees are we planning to plant? I know after an inventory, you'll know more, but are we going to be planting native trees, things like service berries? I mean,
They're all native trees.
that's good to know because often, as you know, cities plant trees that are quick growing or not really appropriate. It's good to know we'd be planting native trees.
No caliper pears, right? I'm just playing with you. I'm messing with you. Sorry, it's an internal joke. Okay. Any other public comment? Hearing none, I'll close public comment. Any comments from the board? Or absolutely.
Mr. Wolf, have we received the grant yet?
Officially, no. We have it in, the final copy of the signed grant has not been received yet.
Do we have an anticipated date of receiving that?
Oh, yeah, they were going to have it by July 1st, so.
Okay, so we're today. Okay, so
Yeah.
we're hopefully today.
Yeah.
Excellent. Any other questions from the board? Ms. LePage?
Ms. Smith, is it a reimbursable grant? Or are we getting the funds? Because then we just need to approve this subject to the actual.
Receipt of the funds.
Or it's a yeah. Mhm.
It's a reimbursable.
Yeah.
We will get reimbursed by them.
Do we have,
We,
let's table this real quick, because if it is a reimbursable, we gotta make sure that we've got the funds right now.
okay.
We are, on that note, though, we are not paying Great Lakes Urban Forestry up front. We plan to pay them on a basis, on a sliding basis, if you will. If they do 10% of the forestry contract, they get reimbursed only 10%. So we're not paying them up front.
Is there a notice to proceed process like typical contracts? I assume that's
Correct,
what-
this would start, correct, it would start the date we approved it and signed it. So obviously we can't have it start yet,
Okay.
without knowing that the funding's in place.
Can we table this until our next meeting to make sure we get, is there? Okay, yeah, next meeting. Madam President, or I'm sorry, Madam Clerk, will you please table this to our next meeting?
Can
Do
you
I hear
make
a
a
motion?
motion?
Yeah. Do I hear a motion to table this to our next meeting?
Motion to table until our next scheduled meeting.
Okay, and in the interim, we will figure out, we'll make sure all the funding is in place one way or the other. Does that seem okay? Okay. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I'll call for the vote. Mr. Simmons,
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Moore,
Aye.
and chair votes aye as well. So we'll hold it over, check on funding, make sure it's all there, and then we'll get it approved.
Thank you, board.
Yeah, absolutely. Our next order of business today is a contract for consulting services related to the American Rescue Plan, ARP, between the City of Michigan City and Baker Tilly Advisory Group, and should not exceed the amount of $30,000. I'm going to, Tweeko, do you know a lot about this? Tell us about it.
So when the city received funds in 2021, ARPA spending funds, we contracted with Baker Tilly at that time to assist us in managing, reporting, and making sure we were following all the guidelines that came with it. This contract is just an extension of that. We're at the end of this year, we need to make sure all the money is encumbered. And we still have reporting requirements that have to be met. And Baker Tilly is going to continue to assist our controller and our office to make sure we're still meeting all the guidelines and making any suggestions we might need. So it's not to exceed 30,000, and it's covered by still remaining ARPA funds, and it's going to be very beneficial for us.
Attorney LePage, have you reviewed the contract? You're
I
okay?
have, and I support what Controller Smith said as well.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Okay, hearing none, I'll open up for public comment. Any public comment on this? Anything online, Drew? Okay, hearing none, I'll close public comment. Do I have any motion from the board? Don't everyone.
Motion to approve.
Here a second.
Support.
Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons,
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Moore,
Aye.
chair votes aye as well. Next order of business is a contract for budget assistance and other budget support services between the City of Michigan City and Baker Tilly Advisory Group, and should not exceed the amount of $15,000. Ms. Smith, can you tell us a little bit about this one as well?
Different type of assistance with the same organization, obviously. We are in our budget time, rolling into 2025 now, as well as dealing with our ARPA funds. Our audit is in. We have 2 other audits going in, and we want to make sure with our new administration and us as the new controllers that we are following and making sure we're setting up the city with a great budget. So Baker Tilly is going to assist us with that, and we have budgeted funds to cover it. So it's not to exceed $15,000. And again, it's just going to make sure that we can put forth the best information for the city.
Excellent. Ms. LePage, have you reviewed this contract as well?
I have and support the approval.
Any questions from the board? Okay, hearing none, I'll open up for public comment. Any public comment on this? Anything online, Drew? Okay, I'll close public comment. I'll entertain a motion from the board. Do you hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Support.
Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons,
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Moore,
Aye.
chair votes aye as well. Motion approved. Our next order of business is a road closure for a special event. The Michigan City Police Department is requesting to close 7th Street between Franklin Street and Washington Street on Thursday, August 8th, 2024, from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. for the MCPD National Night Out event. Chief,
Good morning, Board. Thank you. The street closure is for actually August the 6th. Oh, not the 8th. It's Tuesday. National Night Out was a event that goes on throughout the nation. Basically, communities come together to support togetherness, so stomp out crime, get to know each other, build relationships. This will be our 2nd year, and we're doing it like in a row. It's been a big gap since the last time the police department did it. Last year we did it at Pullman Field. This year we wanted some more exposure with the community, so we're looking at 7th and Franklin. We have a request out to the redevelopment commission for the lots there, but we wanted to get the street closure going, so we can get things in place, make sure we have everything going for that. We're looking to draw 200 plus people to the event. Majority of the event is going to be free through sponsorships throughout the community.
excellent. Any questions of Chief Corley from the board? Okay, hearing none, I'll open up for public comment. Any public comment? Okay, Anything online? All right, hearing none, I'll close public comment. Do I hear a motion from the board? It can be. I think that'd be appropriate. Yeah, that's an appropriate motion.
Motion to approve pending redevelopment commission's approval.
Support.
Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons?
Aye.
Mr. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you, Chief. Our next order of business is transit. The Michigan City Transit Department is requesting approval of the Michigan City Transit Asset Management Plan to provide a document for tracking the condition and replacement of transit assets. Ms. Tillman or Ms. Barzani?
Good morning, Board. Robin Barzoni Tillman from Michigan City Transit Department. I'm requesting approval for this transit asset management plan. It carries us into 2027. It's required by federal regulations and state regulations that we have a plan in place with board approval. We have already planned and programmed financing our funds through the federal government up until 2027 for these vehicles at 80%.
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Did you have any kind of tracking program prior to this, or how were you?
Yes, this is our second revision.
So we're already doing this. It's just updating what's already in
Updating.
place. Absolutely. Any other questions from the board? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to open up for public comment. Any public comment? Any public comment at all? Anything online? True. Okay, seeing none, I'll close public comment. Do I hear a motion from the board?
Motion to approve. Support.
I'll call for the vote. Mr. Simmons? Aye. Mr. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Moore? Chair votes aye as well. Thank you. All right, our next order of business is a request for traffic signage. Gary DeLeo at 123 Glidden Ave is requesting a dead end sign or no turnaround sign at the end of his block. I don't know if you guys read the write up. Is Mr. Eric, how you do?
Good morning. Gary DeLeo, 123 Glidden Avenue. It would be a no turnaround sign. There's already a dead end sign. But they recently put a Airbnb at the bottom of our hill. So now we have the tour buses to try to turn around, and neighbor has been fixing his mailbox like 3 times already. Our landscaping is getting clobbered. There's no way to turn around up there. So the UPS trucks and the FedEx trucks, they turn around downward and back up and then come back down. But these other trucks, the longer Amazon trucks, either they didn't learn how to turn or back up down the street, but they try to maneuver and knock garbage cans down, landscaping. We have a cracked driveway. We're just looking for a no turnaround sign.
Got it. Tim, any thoughts? Mr. Wright, you guys reviewed any of this?
We actually had Sean Smith come down.
Okay.
Yeah, and he suggested coming here,
Okay.
asking for it.
Is there any questions from the board? Okay. Is it a common practice? I mean, you tell me. Do we need to remove the dead end and just put no turnaround? Would that be?
Warner City Engineer, I don't see any issue with putting a sign down at the bottom of the hill so that vehicles know there's no room to turn around at the end of the street.
Got it.
I mean, Sean could probably make that sign, maybe table it to the next meeting and have Sean come in and say whether he can get a sign up right away or whatever.
I think that's
But
good.
I don't see a recommendation against it, so.
Okay. So let's so it sounds to me like okay, so let me open up for public comment first. Is there any public comment on this?
Yeah, Tommy Calabi, 1316 Ohio Street. They're running high profile vehicles down this road. We need to find these drivers. No, maybe but put no trucks, $500 fine. Where I live on William Street, I said there's regular see semi tractor trailer running out. That's not with through street. It runs all the way between Franklin to Ohio. And, now that we got 11th Street going one way going east, the traffic patterns have changed. I think you need. I'm almost ready to come and put a request saying no semis. All was like at Franklin and Wabash and Washington, telling them all these semis when they tore down St. Anthony, all these semis when they were tearing down, they didn't know better. They were coming down William Street to Ohio to cut through. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Okay, hearing none. Anything online? Okay, hearing none. I'll close public comment section. It sounds like there's we need to get this to Sean and see if he can make the sign first of all, and then if there's a place to install it, which it sounds like you've already spoke with him.
Yeah.
So why don't we table this? Why don't we make the recommendation to approve the sign in place to see if he can do it, and then just table it and make sure it gets installed? Does that seem reasonable to approve it to be put up, but then keep it on our pending list to make sure it actually happens? Okay. Do I hear a motion and to that effect?
Motion to approve pending the making of the sign.
Yes, that'll give us time to kind of make sure he can make the sign. Is there a second?
Support.
Okay, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Simmons?
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well, and we'll revisit this just to make sure. We'll put it on our next agenda and just make sure it gets done.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Back with the city. Our next order of business is Mo Maru, Mo's Mediterranean. It's a mobile food vendor license request for Mo's Mediterranean. Is requesting a mobile food vendor license for 1 year. Good morning. Tell us your name and address and tell us a little bit about
722 Franklin Street, Michigan City, Indiana.
Excellent. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
So basically, we have a mobile unit, and we are asking for a 1-year permit to park at 601 Franklin Street initially, and then I submitted, I believe, over the weekend, kind of an amendment to the location, which would be at 111 West 6th Street, Bricks tasting room, just across the way. I've talked to Tyler, and basically we're agreeing that, I'll be able to park in his private lot using his patio outdoor. People can actually get food and then sit down. And obviously also collaborating with him, he'll be open, doing his wine and, help him out with the kitchen. That'd be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. He's usually closed. And then Friday and Saturday would be collaborating for special events with him, so.
So what days will you be? I'm sorry, one more time. What days will you be at Bricks?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then Friday, Saturday, you know how it is. Sometimes somebody books you for a special event. You can't be out Friday and Saturday. So, but initially it'd be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Friday and Saturday if we're available.
Okay. I'm glad to see that you're working with Bricks on this one. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions of Mo?
President York, and I talked to Mo about that.
Sure.
So the parking lot behind that building, Bricks does not lease all 6 spaces. So half of that is leased by Stephen Snyder's law office. So I did tell Mo to please speak with him so they can delineate and talk about that as well. So any motion you make, just make it subject to make sure that that's addressed as well.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So Bricks owns 3 of the spots, obviously, right?
They lease 3.
Oh, okay.
And then the Snyder Law offices own 3 as well.
Yeah. So
Just not delineated which ones.
cool. So if we park, would be at the ones that, Bricks obviously leases, after talking to. So.
Okay. Any other questions of the board at this point?
having had some issues with some mobile units before, where do you prepare your food off-site?
Oh, our food truck is licensed to actually prepare inside the truck by the health department, so
Okay,
yeah, and I've turned in all the paperwork and everything is,
thank you.
yeah.
Good question.
Good question. It's gonna be the normal question from now on. I gotcha. Any other questions of Mo before I open up for public comments? Again, I'm just glad to see the collaboration between the two
Absolutely.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have any more employees? It's just you, I think we had two, yourself and
Me and my brother. Yeah,
that's just, it's
For
those
now.
ones for now.
yeah, and obviously if there's new employees, I can just, pass that on, and
Okay.
good help is hard to find.
Any other questions of the board? If not, I'm gonna open it up for public comment. Any public comment?
Yeah, Tommy Kalavic, 1316 Ohio. So I really don't like this. Beyond no offense to Mr. Mo. Congratulations, you're our new citywide athletic director now. You could do a great job. Oh, it's not him?
Yeah, I'll take
Oh, so, but good luck. But this is really Braylon Hervey's idea. Where you got to drive the food truck in during the day, and then you got to set it all up, then you got to drive it off at night, then you got to come back and set it back up again. This is proven to be we had the same thing with tacos, Mike. It's proven itself to be a health hazard, and it's proven to be a fire hazard. And I think it's just a very poor and unsuccessful business model. We really need to rethink this. Thank you.
Scott Malintour, Kenwood Place. Mr. Marui is a longtime restaurateur here in Michigan City, and he's a good operator. He's had many successful restaurants, and I would encourage the board to support his petition. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Anything online?
And his food's really good too.
Anything online? Nothing, Drew. Okay. Any other public comment? Okay, hearing none, I'm gonna close public comment. Any other questions of Mr. of Mo before we any other questions from the board?
I just have one.
Mr. Moore?
You've obviously talked with Tyler, but he also serves food, so how does that?
Yeah, so on the nights that I'll be there, obviously it's closed Monday, Tuesday, so he doesn't have a kitchen. So I am the kitchen and he's the space, and then obviously I'm offering his wine and stuff, so. That makes sense?
Yes. Yeah, they're gonna complement each other he's gonna provide wine, the wine bar experience. Mo provides the food experience, if you will.
Plus, his seating outside with the patio, people are able to sit down and, relax and enjoy, so.
Yeah.
It's definitely complementing each other that way. So.
Any other questions before we? Is there any other questions, Ms. Moore? No? Okay. Just making sure. Do we hear a motion from the board?
Motion to approve pending collaborating with Mr. Steve Snyder and Attorney Associates.
Second.
I'll call for the vote. Mr. Simmons?
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Mo, congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Just make sure you check with Mr. Schneider and get those delineate which one's which. Okay. All right, our next order of business is Paul Cockrell. The Wienery is requesting a street vendor license for 1 year. Is Mr. Cockrell here? I don't know. Mr. Cockrell, are you here? Okay. Did you guys read through this one, Mr. Cockrell? I'll go through it real quick since he's not here. Give me 1 second. This one's being requested at, I forget the address, Miss LePage, Attorney LePage.
So he's requesting to locate at 923 Highway 212. He's also requesting to locate on Lowe's, Menards, Dollar General, Humane Society. But the only one we have consent for is 923 Highway 212.
He had updated that. Did you guys get that updated request? I think I'm having issues with my email.
I don't know that I did. What was the update?
So I had him update since I had contacted him regarding us not having letters saying that he can sell in those parking lots like Lowe's and the ones that he'd originally requested. And then he stated that the letter that you have in your packets is for the property that he updated it to, and it's at 923 Highway 212 is where he'll be having his.
So is it he's just requesting this location
Yes.
right now? Okay. 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 I think we spoke a little bit about this. I just had like concern about where exactly it's going over there. Just to make sure it's not on the road, that it's pushed off the road was my only question.
You and I discussed this and we had safety concerns
Yeah.
of this and locating a street vendor right off of a major highway that we
Correct.
we don't have the right of way. We don't own it. The state owns the right of way. So out of safety concerns, that's what I had.
Yeah,
That was my main concern.
Yeah, and just not knowing where exactly it's going to go. There's a large shoulder there. Well, it's not large. It's a shoulder, but still,
Yes.
traffic is
Keep
very
in
quick
mind
there.
there's a state right away.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's kind of unsafe.
absolutely.
That's putting everyone at risk.
Yeah, absolutely. What is the? I guess I would like to. I don't want to just deny it. I'd like to see his other location.
We would like for him to be present too.
Yeah.
Someone to speak in his behalf.
So let's, if I may, take a stab at this. Could we table this to give him some time? Because I would like to see his Lowe's and his other locations, so that we don't just deny it. And
Isabel, you said that he's now updated it. That
Yeah,
this would
he was
be his-
originally in the Dollar General parking lot, I think, on the Michigan Boulevard. And he was told to come in and put in a request, and he said that that's where he would do it. So I can't Lowe's all the different parking lots. So I contacted him and I said, we need letters of approval from those businesses if you're going to be doing it in their parking lots. And then he said that he now officially has like a location. So on, I want to say it was Tuesday or Wednesday morning, he had come in to update his request form because we only had the letter that's included in your packet, and that was the 212 property. He said he would only be doing business there.
okay,
And no longer in the parking lots.
okay. So do we want to table this, or do we need to? What's the pleasure of the board? Any thoughts? I'll open it up for public in just a minute. I'm going to open it up, Mr. Warner. Are you engineer? Yeah, Tim.
Tim Werner, city engineer. I think if you're gonna move forward with this location, you'll want to have him get a letter from NDOT approving that location as well. I know when I was with NDOT, we had an issue with the hot dog stand that was at 39 and 20. And the state had a real issue with that, but once he had set up, the state couldn't really do anything about it. Whereas if we talk with him in advance, we can at least identify entrance and exit points, or we NDOT can do that of what he can use to access 212. So I think that's a recommendation I'd like to have the board ask the owner to do too, is get a contact letter from NDOT for at least their blessing.
Yeah, it seems like so do we want to table this, or do we want to deny this? Or what's the pleasure of the board? And let me open it up for public comment. Any public comment at this time on this petition? Anything online? And we don't really have him here to ask questions. So what's the pleasures? Or I'll close public comment.
I motion that we table this request until the next meeting to give the gentleman an opportunity to present his plan.
Okay.
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Mr. Simmons,
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. So we'll table this and give him an opportunity to maybe even update his locations if we're not happy, if we're not okay with this one. Okay, moving on. Our next order of business is a solicitor vendor license. J&B West Enterprises requesting a solicitor vendor license for 1 year to perform roof and siding inspections for insurance claims related to hail damage. Good morning. Tell us your name and address and
How you doing? Justin with J&B West. I'm the director of sales here. I actually reside out of Chicago, Illinois, River North area. But come here every day, hour and a half a day. There's a reason I'm in Indiana. Love it. So so we've been having a lot of calls from customers who have already been in our pipeline. A lot of outside, what we call storm chasers, that are coming flying in. They're setting up shop here for 2-3 weeks, and they're getting customers to sign into these contracts with sometimes charge them up to 30% of the total allotment that's given by insurance. So what we're trying to do is kind of make an effort to protect them, obviously, is the biggest thing. So all of our canvassers are really trained to educate the customer on what they're getting, how the insurance process works. And obviously we're just trying to benefit as many people as we can. So that's kind of what we're doing here.
any questions of Justin?
Justin, how many canvassers do you guys have?
6.
Any other questions, Miss Moore? Do you have any questions? I am going to put you on the spot. Yeah. Any other questions? Hearing none, I'll open up for public comment. Any public comments? Anything online?
Quick question.
Absolutely.
Scott Malventura, Kenwood Place. Where's JB West headquartered?
Highway 212.
So it is a local company at least.
Yes, it is.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Probably just started with that.
Any other public comments?
Yeah, just Tommy Kolavic, 1316. Just a reminder, all these, but you know, you can't be passing out your handbills at the leave your market material at the resident's doorstep. I said, there's a no soliciting sign on the door. That means no door knocking. And if the resident asks the solicitor to leave, they got to leave. They just can't keep pushing it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Okay. Hearing none, I'll close public comments. Is there any additional comments from the board?
We, the city, do a lot of business with JB West, so I'm glad to know that it's another local company that's asking. I support this, so.
Excellent.
I concur.
Your reviews, your online reviews are awesome, and that's very exciting, and we're happy that somebody local is
Doing this.
going through.
Absolutely.
Do I hear any other comments or a motion from the board?
Motion to approve.
Support.
Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons?
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
I with the side comment, can
Yeah, absolutely.
I?
You're more than welcome.
I still have issues with the whole process, but the ordinance as it stands, you fall under, and I will vote aye, but I still have issues with the ordinance for review.
Perfectly fine. Chair votes aye as well. Perfect. See you, Justin. Have a good day.
I was going to say real quick too, if you ever want to get together so I can explain, we have a 10-step process, you know, in terms of ethical and moral standpoint of where the company stands. So if you want to know what their process is at the door for every single customer, let me know.
That's really important.
Yep.
Thank you. Our next order of business is a request for additional employees. Ron Landtroop, a Slice of Heaven, is requesting to add additional employees to his mobile food vendor license. So Mr. Landtroop here, he's typically here. Let's see here. Yeah, he's just adding one new employee. I will say that Mr. Landtroop follow, he always lets us know, and I'm honestly surprised he's not here. So I will just say that for the benefit of the public. And since he's not here and he's requesting to add one employee to his business, he's been following the rules for years now, and he'll come in and if we approve it and get his ID and things of that nature. Any comments from the board on this one? Any public comments? Anything online, Drew? Don't see anything. All right, I'll close public comments. Do I hear a motion? Do I entertain a motion from the board?
Motion to approve.
Support.
Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons. Aye. Miss Tisdale.
Aye.
Miss Smith.
Aye.
Miss Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. We'll let him know. Next order of business is a personnel. Tatanisha George, HR Director, is requesting to update the job description for Transit Director. Ms. George, tell us a little bit about what's going on.
Good morning, Board. Tatanisha George, Human Resources Director, City of Michigan City. I have before you the job description for a Transit Director, and there is only one change, and this came about because we are in the middle of reviewing our transit. Thank you. And so when they reviewed this, they had one recommendation, or actually they had two, but they had one main recommendation for the job description of Transit Director, and that was to include, develop, and implements the transit asset management plans as required by the Federal Transit Authority. So we decided to put that in there so that we are in compliance with the request of the Federal Transit Authority.
When you say they, it was probably the feds that reviewed that and made that recommendation.
Yeah, it was during the review process that they noticed that this particular portion was not included in the job description, and they asked that we put this in the job description.
That makes sense. They give us funding.
Yeah.
Any questions of Ms. George? Okay, I'll open up for public comment. Any public comment on this? Anything online, Drew? Okay, hearing none, I'll close public comment. Any other thoughts from the board, or do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second,
Support.
call for the vote. Mr. Simmons? Aye. Ms. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you, Ms. George.
Thank you, Board.
Our next order of business is the payroll docket for June 14th, 2024, city payroll. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Support. I'll call for the vote. Mr. Simmons? Aye. Aye. Ms. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. On to the claims docket. Our claims docket for July 1st, 2024. Anyone?
Motion to approve.
Support.
Here, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Simmons? Aye. Ms. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. On to our updates. I do see Mr. Albers out there. If you don't mind, this is an update for Flaherty and Collins. Give us a rundown of how it's going, what's going on, and tell us where we're at. Thank you.
David Albers, project manager for Flaherty and Collins. So the project is going as planned. No major issues or anything. Precast will be wrapping up by Labor Day, and you'll see that crane. So we'll be able to lift the road restrictions, I guess the parking restrictions along Wabash and 11th, right around that time. We'll be erecting the tower crane. That is part of not the garage project, but the apartment tower project here in the next 2 weeks. So you'll see that starting to go up. They've already poured the base and everything for it. So yeah, it's moving along well. We'll probably come back. I'll be here in probably a couple of weeks to talk about partial closure of Franklin Street so that we can do the utility tie-ins in conjunction with the water department. So yeah, I'm here to answer any other questions or concern from the board or from the public.
Any questions of Mr. Albers from the board? Okay, hearing none, I'll open it up for public comments. Any public comments?
Yeah, Tommy Kalavic, 1316 Ohio Street. I think it's just really cool going there, but maybe every week, and just going by there and just seeing the progress that's going on this thing. As the thing goes up and looking like you told the redevelopment at the end of August, we're going to start on the solar project. So I think everything's rolling. I think Mayor Angie's got a lot of good plans, like moving the farmers market to Pullman and whatnot. She just got the $75,000 digital equity grant she came back with. I think as we're just rolling right on. I want to wish you all a happy 6-month anniversary and be on the board of works, you being the administrator, Angie being the mayor, and you being the deputy controller, and Corley being the police chief, and Tim being the engineer. And thank you.
Any other public comments? Okay, hearing none, I'll close the public comment section. Any questions of Mr. Albert from the board before I let him sit back down or get back where he was? Okay, Mr. Albert, thank you so much for coming and being here. All right, our next updates, special events update. Eric, come on down. Good morning. Tell us all the good things that are happening.
Good morning, Board. Eric Williams, Michigan City Special Events. We are finishing off a very, very successful and hard month of June. The month started June 7th through 9th with the Singing Sand Sculpting Festival. Big success on that event, and we finally got the weather to cooperate with us for the entirety of the event. Big crowds, largest event to date, and a huge thank you to the Park Maintenance Department, the Controller's Office, and Michigan City Police Department. We would not have made it through that weekend without their hard work, as well as the interns, volunteers, and the EMA volunteers. Again, this is a large event and a lot of cooperation from the city to do this. We went from there to June 22nd. We had the Michigan City Kitty Parade. Smaller event than we'd hoped, but still very successful. Again, the interns and volunteers for that one, thank you very much. And a huge thank you to Save a Lot, who donated juice boxes and fruit snacks so that every participant was able to get some at the end. This past Saturday, excuse me, we had the Patriotic Parade. Also a big success, right around 100 entries. Huge thank you to our interns, volunteers, EMA volunteers, and the Michigan City Police Department for their hard work in that one as well. Moving forward, we have on July 4th, the Michigan City Fireworks. That's going to start at dusk. And a reminder, July 3rd is the last day to get your parking sticker. If you don't have the sticker on July 4th, you will be subject to the $40 parking fee for that day. And then the 13th and 14th of July, we have the Aquacross jet ski races. And then July 31st to August 4th, the Great Lakes Grand Prix.
Wow, it goes so quick, doesn't it? Any questions of the board? Singing Sands, the Sculpture Fest was really cool, really good, and it looked really busy.
Yeah.
So thank you, Terry and Eric, I saw you out there. You're working so hard.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. Great weekend for us.
Absolutely. Any public comments regarding special events, Michigan City? Okay. Anything online? All right. Hearing none, I'll let you go. And thank you for all your hard work. Thank you, Terry. Our next update is Parks Department. I saw Will out there, but I don't know if he's coming back in. Okay. Any updates from the Parks Department? Well, okay, I'm missing Will. Okay, we'll move on to unfinished business. If he comes in, we'll bring him up here. Our first order of unfinished business, Scott Malin, traffic control. Scott Malin, 200 Kenwood Place, is requesting to change the traffic signal at the NICTD crossing so that people won't run the red lights going northbound after a train passes and the gates go up. And this is the crossing at 11th and Franklin Street. I'm going to have our city engineer, Tim Warner, come up and give a little update on this because we have had some progress.
Tim Warner, city engineer. When that intersection first opened, I observed this happen several times. As soon as the railroad gates go up, you'd see traffic northbound run the red light as the turn arrow for eastbound, 11th Street activates for the southbound to eastbound. I had a discussion with Andy Holder Reed, the NDOT traffic engineer for the LaPorte district, discussed this, and he indicated that we really can't have left turn signal if there's not a dedicated left turn lane. That's not striped for left turn movement. And I think even with the lane marking, when people see the gates go up, it's, you know, they're still gonna see the southbound traffic move and take off like they've been doing. Alan's recommendation with NDOT, and that's what I wanted to do, was get rid of the left turn movement cycle altogether too, is he says we should probably remove the signal heads for the left yellow and left green, eliminate that whole function and just have it be a permitted left turn lane after the platoon goes through, since we have two through lanes southbound and northbound. So I requested from our traffic signal contractor to give me a proposal for making that work, proceed with. So I haven't received that proposal yet. Once I get it, I'll bring it to the Board of Works and Cost, and then we can move forward with making that correction and eliminating that apparent safety issue with northbound traffic just going once the gates go up when there's an actual protected, supposedly turn movement there. Any questions?
Any questions of the board? Would you like for us to hold this over until we get it completely done?
Yeah, hold it over, because I'll get the proposal from Midwest Electric and then we'll get a schedule and see when that can happen. I'll report back to the board when we have that done.
Would we like to hold this over till our second meeting in July, or push it out further? Any thoughts from the board? Push it out to our first meeting. Okay, I like that too. Do I hear a motion to, or should I open up for public comment? Okay, I'll open up for public comment first. Any public comment on this?
Scott Melcher, Kenwood Place. I'm sure Mr. Warner's and the board is aware it's not just at Franklin, it's at Washington, and I think anywhere there's a traffic signal at 11th Street. I don't know if there are any more traffic lights other than Washington.
I think just Washington, Wabash.
I don't think that has turning movements.
No,
There's no arrow there.
I don't remember.
Just go get it turned green. I'll check it out.
Okay. Let's just double check that, because I actually think it's the other way.
I don't think there's any arrow anywhere. So
But it's great to hear there's progress on it, and I think we have the right chief engineer, city engineer for the job. Thank you.
I'll tell you later. Thank you.
Is there any public comments online? Okay, hearing none. Do I hear a motion to table this until our first meeting in August?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Support.
Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons? Aye. Mr. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. So we'll revisit this on our first meeting in August. Our next unfinished business is a request for additional employees. Romans Roofing is requesting additional employees for the canvassing peddler license. This was tabled from June 17th, 2024. Do I hear any additional comments from the board? Is Mr. or Romans Roofing here? I want to say that's Angelo. Hi, Angelo. How do you do again? If you don't mind, please introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about your business.
Yeah, hi, good morning again, board. Angelo Saya from Romans Roofing. I'm one of the owners there. We are a restoration company. We do roofing, siding, gutters. I'm typically the exteriors of homes. Like the gentleman from JB West kind of alluded to, we do a lot of insurance work. I know some of the board might remember me because I've been there and talked to you guys a few times. And yeah, we continue to kind of help with people in the city. We're located out of Hobart, Indiana. And yeah, we were just looking to add like the rest of our sales team to the vendor license. That way we can continue to help. And like the gentleman alluded to in today's meeting and that I alluded to in last month's meeting, you know, we do our best to try to educate and help homeowners, you know, go through this process the right way. Because sometimes, you know, there are companies out there that want to just file a claim and see what happens, and it's not always in the best interest of the homeowner.
Angela, can you remind us? I know we've talked about this last time, and I wrote it down last time, but I don't have my notes in front of me. how many vendors do you have now and how many are you requesting?
So currently we have 9, and that includes myself and one of the other owners. And on the request, the total is 11. And that's also one of the owners and then the rest of the team.
So I think the main reason why this was tabled at the last meeting, even though I was not here, was due to the IDs not having I had them. I thought I had stated when I sent out my email, so I apologize. While I was gone, it was crazy, but I do have their IDs. Some of their security cards were involved with it, so I did not send that over because I did not think that was information that needed to be shared. So I apologize if it was not stated in the email. I had them, but was not sending them over with your packet.
That's right. I remember now. You sparked my. We didn't.
We
Yeah.
do not require social security cards.
Yeah.
That was voluntarily submitted and should be redacted.
Yes. I do remember that. We didn't have, or it was here, we just didn't have it. Yes. So that's why we tabled it. Okay. Let me open it up for public comment. Any public comment on this?
Yeah, Tommy Kolovic, 1316 Ohio Street. So like I said the last time, we really need to go back and revisit this fee schedule. This is probably something I probably was established back during the Cliff Arnold administration. I mean, I think, well, what, we're only getting $10 out of adding this employee. We need to up that like 100. We need to get with the council on that. Only 250 a year. Well, let's up it to 1,000. We keep giving the store away on everything. So, that's all I have to say.
Any other public comment? Any comment online? Okay, hearing none, we'll close public comment. Is there any other questions of the board?
I'll just agree with Tommy. We do need to take another look at the fee structure along with the council, so we can change that.
So I will address this now. We are in the midst of we have been conducting a fee study with Baker Tilly, and we have just received our preliminary report back for this study. And this was part of that fee study. We did have them look at this and what other cities do. And we looked at similar cities' size and also regional cities, making sure that we're not, going to Nashville and pulling something from there. It was regional cities. So we've had that report back. I do know Attorney LePage has been working on we've talked about an ordinance, but we need to get our fee study set and our fees set in order to get those into that.
So just to go a little bit further, so we've had a preliminary discussion with Baker Tilly. We've had some preliminary reports. They being Baker Tilly, will be doing a final report that will be presented to the Common Council with recommendations. And in that report, it does recommend an increase in some of these licenses that come in front of this board.
Yes.
So there is, and actually we just met with Baker Tilly this past Friday to go over the preliminary. So it's all very fresh and it will be coming forward.
Yeah, and so what'll happen is it'll go to council, be approved, or hopefully be approved, and then we will implement from there. Just want to get that out there. Do I hear it doesn't address the issue at hand, but do I hear a motion, or what's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve.
Do we hear a second? Once. Do we hear a second? I'll second it to get a vote. I'll call for second. Do I hear I'll call for the vote. Mr. Simmons?
Aye.
Mr. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Nay.
Ms. Moore?
Nay.
Chair votes aye. Until we get this cleaned up, I feel like they're following the rules and they are established. And but that means we got to get this thing addressed. So with that, I'll leave it at that. So motion approved. Angelo?
I just want to say thank you to everybody, and I know I forget the lady from the Parks Department, but I think the gentleman also said he'd be happy to sit and talk with you about our standards and our core values. And I would be more than happy to have a meeting with you or anyone else for that. I do agree with the town, the gentleman that spoke in regards to upping the fee. Again, that's more money that's allocated to the city, and just do keep in mind that with things like this, this does help raise the home values. It does bring work into the city. Obviously when we're buying permits and things like that. So I do think there's a lot of stuff that can be done to help, just grow from everyone's standpoint. So.
All right. Thank you. Moving on, our next order of business is traffic control. Eileen Westerkamp, 3017 Moore Road, is requesting stop signs or other ways to reduce speeding vehicles and large semis down Moore Road. Corporate right.
Good morning, Corporal Wright, Commander of Michigan City Police Department Traffic Division. As we have said before, we can't use stop signs to change speed or make people slow down for that reason. We do have our mobile radar trailer out on Moore Road, just north of Notre Dame, around Lady Lane area, and we'll leave that out there as long as we can to try to address the speed. I'll also speak again with our shift commanders and make sure that area car sits out on Moore Road to observe speed. I also know the Long Beach Police also does that as well to help us out as well. So
excellent. So we'll see how that goes. Should we keep this on here? Is your recommendation to keep it on and revisit?
I would say we could remove it.
Okay.
And we'll just stay on top of it from this point forward.
Okay. You've heard the recommendation from Corporal Wright. I'll open up for public comment. Any public comment?
Good morning, Scott Melantur, Kenwood Place. I've looked here at Moore Road very closely, and it seems Michigan City property ends at about where the mobile radar is set up. It becomes Long Beach after that, as far as I can tell. And that's where it's tight and congested. I'm not sure where the petitioner lives exactly, but she might want to direct this to Long Beach. I don't think this is a Michigan City issue. I also believe Long Beach has a very effective radar sign, I think on Carwick Road, that tells you your speed as you go by. It's an actual like speed sign that flashes at you your speed, and it's solar powered. And I found it very effective. I thought I was going slowly, and it found out I was going a little faster than I thought I was. So I was still under 30, but it was a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit. I would suggest you take this up with Long Beach because that's where it gets tight and congested. It's not a Michigan City issue, as far as I can tell. Thank you.
Any other public comments? Yeah, we need to remove it. Yeah, hearing none, I'm gonna close public comment. Anything online? Sorry, I didn't mean to look. Nothing online. Okay, I heard the recommendation from Corporal Wright, and it sounds like he is coordinating with Long Beach for enforcement, which makes sense because I do think it ends somewhere up in there, and all those roads go to some point in time transition. That makes sense. Do I hear a motion to remove this from our unfinished business?
So moved.
For a second?
Support.
Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons?
Aye.
Ms. Santisto?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you, Corporal Wright, for looking into this. Next order of business is a street enhancement. Daniel Radke, 508 East 2nd Street, is requesting to install a curb, gutter, and possibly a sidewalk to the east side of Taylor Street at 216 Taylor Street. And this is tabled from our November 6, 2023 meeting. I know that our city engineer, Tim Werner, has talked with our sanitary district on this. And I thought there was a plan. I don't know if they've implemented the plan, though.
Tim Werner, city engineer. I know the sanitary district was working on it. I was working with Steve Stanford on this. Steve Stanford gave his resignation to the sanitary district last week, and I talked with Chris Yagelski towards the end of the week, and he was unable, at least as of Friday afternoon, to find the status of this. So Let's keep this on for the August meeting. I'll work with Chris and the staff at the sanitary district to talk with Mr. Radke and see about getting the solution, see where Steve was with this and try to get this implemented and I'll get back to the board in August.
Okay, sounds good. I'll open it for public comments. Any public comments on this, Mr. Albers? I was going to say that, but I didn't want to overstep my.
Dave Albers. We're leasing the property from Dan Radke at 216 Taylor Street. It's our accounting firm, excuse me. And probably within the last 2 months, we had another flood situation where the rainwater came down Taylor. It angles off to the property and we had water coming through the door. And so it would be wonderful if we could figure out a solution. And I have some ideas also that I think could be cost effective. So
Thank you. You'll talk. Mr. Albers, Mr. Warner will be reaching. He'll reach out to you. Any other public comment on this? Okay, hearing none, I'm gonna close public comment. Mr. Warner's made a recommendation that we table this till our first meeting in August. Do I hear a motion to that effect?
Motion to table till the first meeting in August.
For a second.
Second.
Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons. Aye. Ms. Tisdale.
Aye.
Ms. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. So we'll have a report back on that. And Mr. Albers, I'm sure Mr. Warner will get a hold of you. Our next order of business, I'm going to take a minute, and I see Will out in the hallway. At least I thought he was.
He was.
He keeps disappearing on me. Mr. Kelly, I see you standing up. Would you see if Will is out in the hallway?
Right.
Okay. All right. I know the Parks Department wants to have an update because I see him back there, but okay. We will move forward with okay. Will, did you want to give us a update on Parks Department? Okay.
No update. I thought I had something on the agenda for a road closure and I didn't.
Okay. Okay. Got it. I will open it up for public comment at this time. Any public comment?
Good morning, Board. Scott Melantur, Kenwood Place. This is a broad question or broad concern. In many areas of the city, we have people arming the tree, what do we call it, the tree lawn or the public easement. People consider this their property. Generally, there's an easement in front of your property. Some areas have sidewalks and curbs, and it's very easy to tell where your property is and where the city property is. Other parts of our city do not have curbs or sidewalks, and people assume their property runs to the street line. Many people have decided to armor this with rocks or other obstacles. I believe this is a safety concern and an improper use of public property. In my neighborhood, we have a person who lives on a corner who has put large rocks almost touching the asphalt. They're not back a foot or two or three, something reasonable. These are in the public way. I believe they create a safety concern. We see this also on Lakeshore Drive. I'm not sure where the property lines are on Lakeshore Drive, but as we all know, it's a very inhospitable place with no parking everywhere in front of people's houses and perhaps chains or even rocks. This is an easement. Again, I don't know the property lines. I'd have to look at Beacon for Lakeshore Drive. But this is kind of the public way. It's an easement and not really private property. And people are using this as their private property. I think this is something we should get a hold of because one person sees the rocks arming the corner, then the next person on the corner does it. And you really do have a safety concern. There's not places for people to walk off the street in my neighborhood. And I don't know how we address this, but I think it should be brought to the board's attention. And in places where it does present a safety concern, I think we should take action. In fact, the person I'm alluding to in my neighborhood, they were sent a letter by the city saying they had 10 days to move their rocks. That letter was sent almost 2 months ago, and no action has been taken. And frankly, I want to see those rocks taken away because that's my understanding of what was going to happen. What good is enforcement if we don't enforce? Thank you.
Mr. Klavik?
Yeah, this is Tommy Kolovic again from 1316 Ohio Street. I agree with Scott. You don't put nothing out on the city's tree runner right away, in your garden or decoration. I had that when I bought a house over on Tryon Street, 301 Tryon Street. The previous owner, he had set railroad ties all up out there. He actually put a sprinkler system. I had to get rid of all the railroad ties and had to dig up all that sprinkler system out there. We eventually sold the house after my niece decided to move out. As far as these trees go, we do have an ordinance, it's section 102-38, 102-39. It does prohibit, there's no trees that's supposed to be the small trees, it can't be less than 3 feet from the curb. They can't, the medium-sized trees less than 4 feet from the curb, and the large trees less than 5 feet from the curb. And there's not supposed to be trees planted less than 35 feet from a corner. My whole block, every one of those trees should have been planted on that, especially that sweet gum tree in front of my house. They get into the sidewalk or they overgrow. We can't maintain a street tree program. We're not Carmel, we're not Fishers, we're not Nobles, we're not Westfield. I know we're working on this with the new forester, but some of these trees, they need to be removed. They get in your line of sight when you try to make a left-hand or right-hand turn. They get into your city water sewer laterals, like the sweet gum tree on my. It's probably only maybe about probably less than a foot away from my sewer lateral, maybe about 5 feet away from my water lateral in front of my house. We're gonna have to start removing these trees. I know we all love our trees. I'm not one of those people. I take care of my grandpa Watts in Arkansas. I'm not shy about firing up a chainsaw. That man would cut down the tree and look at it. Thanks. Yeah, you're not gonna put me on the tree board as far as I'm concerned. The tree board means you cut down the tree and you haul it to the sawmill and make boards out of it.
Any other public comments? Anything online, Drew? All right, I'm gonna close public comments. Mr. Wolf, did you have anything? You good? I'm gonna address Mr. Wolf. He looks like he's coming up to address something in public comment.
Yeah, Michael Wolf, City Forester. I did want to address the fact we are aware of the tree issue and we are working to rectify where we can.
Absolutely. It's a good, Mr. We'll just say you're very versed in urban forestry, which is different than just forestry in general. Absolutely. Any other public comments? If not, I'm going to close public comments and I'll open it up for board comments. Any board comments?
Yes. In regards to the vendor's license, I feel that a lot of the reason it was tabled is because we wanted the council to look at capping the number of vendors allowed as well. I voted in favor of Roman's Roofing because, as you said, even though I don't like the fact that they will now have 20 people in our city, he's following the rules as written right now. So as we have the council look at the fee structure, can we also have them look at capping the number of solicitors in the area as well?
I would definitely say the same thing. I feel like we haven't put a moratorium on it, and we have this rule in place, and they're trying to follow the rules. And until we change it, I feel like if they're vested in that petition, that we have to follow through with it until we change it. I do like the capping, though. I do like the capping, though. I think that's a wise decision. Miss Moore, you had a comment, please.
I have a question regarding Scott's comment. Who is responsible? How is that?
So we'll have to follow specifically on the letter or just all of it in general. Me and the city engineer will probably we'll have to follow up. Not probably, we will have to follow up on it. He'll be out moving rocks. Not just playing. But we'll have to follow up on the notification and things of that nature, and just kind of follow up on it and make sure we're
So is that just somebody riding around the city and looking for
I think it's,
violations, or how does that occur?
I don't know the answer to that. I would say that as we see them, because we do have a lot of people out daily, looking back at Mr. Kelly, other people who are out, I think that they would just keep notes or flag what they see, and then we address it at that time.
Especially if it's a traffic issue.
Right. Some are more important than others. I agree. I agree. So I'd say that Mr. We have policemen out every day. We have street crews out every day. I think it's just a matter of keeping up on it and flagging. Scott, and then so we do have people out, and rather than bringing every issue, I think, to the board, I think it's just more importantly that we'll like a pothole. Hey, there's a pothole at this. Send it through the proper channels. We do have a process where you can file complaints anonymously, things of that nature. We could handle potholes that way. We are in the process of getting a new permitting system, and that permitting system will allow you to geolocate certain complaints and things like that and file them anonymously. Just FYI for the public. Any other comments from the board?
I do have one. Since we're talking about limiting the amount of canvassers under a license, does the board have a recommendation to the common council about the number to limit it to? For example, do we limit it to 3, 4, 5? But I think this board, it would be nice for this board to make a recommendation.
Any gut feeling for look at Miss Moore? You have any gut feeling about what's appropriately? We approved some. We just did 20. I feel like that's a lot.
I do as well, but I also keep in mind the fact that these are just the people that they're allowing, so they're not going to have 20 people in the city every day, but hypothetically, but they could.
I don't know that I have a recommendation right now. For some reason, 10 is in my mind, but you're right. It's a good point.
That's where I'm kind of stuck. I can write the legislation, but I just don't know what the magic number we'd be looking at. In my mind, I was thinking possibly 5, but
I think it should be a sliding scale. So if we do 1 to 5, it's a price, and if we do 10, that's another price.
But you have to have like a not to exceed.
However it goes, but make
correct.
Yeah,
that's my thought.
Okay.
I mean, I think if the concern was first, Ms. Moore's concern was how many companies were allowed having people knocking on doors. And then, we have vendors come in and they're asking, and we will obviously want to do that as well. But now we have one company that's got 20 people, and we have the other companies that's only going to have 5 or 8. And the legislation is what it is, so we're gonna move with it how it is at this point. But to Amber's point, I think a sliding scale would be better. Again, 1 to 5 or 1 to 3 even might be a price. Maybe the IDs are going to be more than $10 a piece. They're going to be $25. Maybe the fee is $1,000 a year. Maybe you only get, like I said, 1 to 5, 1 to 3 people, and anything more than that, it's $500 per person. Because the point is that they're coming into our town, getting business, they're making money. As Tommy said, we're giving away the store. So the only way we can increase and get more fees and more revenue for the city is to increase that cost and then put stipulations on it. But we did have the power as a board to say, you guys already have 8 people, you guys already have 11 people working, to be fair to the other people that are out doing the same work who are limited now. You're good if we say no.
Yeah.
So that was my no.
Yeah.
I also have a concern about the process, and that's probably where I started my whole feeling about this is the process. I know I was solicited, not now, but a year ago, out of the blue. Somebody knocks on the door and they say, you have hail damage. Well, when was the hailstorm? And they presented and they wanted a signed contract right then. They wanted a signature. And I obviously did not do that, but I wonder how many people feel pressured, and it's the process that I also am concerned about, that I don't know how we address, but like you brought up specifically, but the process is really important, and I don't know what the right process is. I don't know enough. It's just a feeling that I personally experienced.
I do know that, so when we do adjust this, it will be an ordinance change, so maybe we just take the time to review the first draft of the ordinance, Attorney LePage, when we get it there. No, we're not there yet, but
I know, but I was hoping for like a recommendation.
I know.
As to how to, what you'd like to see in it. But Tamiko made at least a good point of, you know, trying
like
to do
it.
a sliding scale with, I guess, with the more, but I still feel like there needs to be a cap.
Yeah,
A
a
not to
sliding
exceed
scale with a
amount.
cap.
Mhm.
Any other comments from the board?
Yes. Just for public information, effective today, the traffic flow on Cool Spring, Cool Spring and Tilden and Cleveland and Cool Spring has changed. There will no longer be 3 stop signs at Tilden and Cool Spring. Just for the traffic traveling south on Tilden, there will be a stop sign. Cleveland and Cool Spring now has 4 stop signs. That's effective today. I have driven the route. The signs are up. Traffic is flowing just great out there. Thank you.
Great announcement. Any other board comments or anything for the public?
Just one more, going back to the roofing, sorry.
Go ahead.
But to add on to the concern is that I understand that some people charge money up front before they will even start. And where is the security that they will finish the job with some of the companies that we really know nothing about? And that is another part of the process that I had concerns about. Thank you.
Any other board comments? I know we didn't get what you really wanted, Attorney LePage, so I don't know that. So we're just gonna probably have to revisit this once we maybe get our fee study done and then get the actual ordinance drafted. But I do like the slotting scale and then cap. I think that's wise. Hearing none, I'll close board comments. Do I hear an adjournment? Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second. Adjourn.